Okay, Nitika, I think we should get started. Disha will start with the introduction. So, Disha, you can get started.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this session on stakeholder essentials. What stakeholders want in today's fast paced and highly collaborative work environment. Success is rarely achieved in isolation. Whether you're leading a project, managing a team, or influencing outcomes, without authority, your ability to understand and manage stakeholders effectively can make all the difference. This session is brought to you by Skillame, where we partner with organizations to build practical, high impact capabilities across leadership, behavioral, and functional domains, helping professionals translate learning into a real workplace outcomes. We are delighted to have with us today Nitika Seth Arora, a highly experienced leadership and behavioral skills trainer with over 2 decades of experience across operationals, consulting, and corporate trainings. Nitika has worked with organizations like WNS Global Services, HP, Accenture, and GE Capital, and has led large teams, managed multi-billion-dollar businesses portfolios, and driven transformative initiatives in customer experience and operational excellence. Over the years, she has trained professionals across industries on leadership, stakeholder management, communication, conflict management, and performance management, bringing a strong blend of real world experiences and practical insight. Today, she'll help us explore who your stakeholders really are, what they actually expect from you, and how you can manage them more effectively to drive better outcomes. With that, let's get started. Over to you, Nitika ma'am.
Wow. Thank you so much, Disha. That was quite a fast and a long introduction that you gave out. Thank you. So today I have how many people on the call, Patel? We are 5 people. Are you there, Patel?
Yeah, hi, Nitika.
5 of us?
Sorry?
Thank you so we much. We have 5 people on the call today, right? Can you hear me? Okay, so what I request everybody to do is just think who your stakeholder is, what you want, and I just want you to switch on your camera so that I can start talking now. Paril, I've almost yes. So I would want to hear who your stakeholders are. Who should I be asking, Patel? I only see you on screen. So can you tell me who your stakeholders are?
So, to be Nitika, so for me, it is both internal and external stakeholders. So we work with, yeah. So internally, yeah. So internally, it would be my manager, my colleagues, and from the customer point of view, it is my Spock at different levels.
So it's mostly your colleagues. So you said internal and external. Tell me who your external ones are.
So from an external point of view, it is our customers, like the Spock with whom we work. There also I work closely with the L&Ds. Then later, once we move to finance team, the procurement teams with whom we interact.
So it's a multiple group that you are interacting with. Excellent,
Yes.
excellent answer. Uh, I can see that Shirley is there, Suruchi is there, Disha. Whenever you feel right, please switch on your cameras. We can have a conversation. Else, just type your responses. I'm going to be sharing my screen. Have you given me the rights yet? Is it visible, Patil? Yeah.
Can see the.
Excellent. So yeah, that was me. I think Disha has already spoken enough. Where my practical experience in stakeholder management comes from. It really comes from hands-on knowledge by working with people. I know how to handle stakeholders better. But, much later in my life, I realized who my real stakeholders are. So let's go through who those stakeholders are. And Patil rightfully said they are internal and external, but I don't see them as internal and external. Why? I don't want to differentiate them. The reason is because I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking, how can I ensure that I'm the same with every person? My outcome is same for every person and every stakeholder that I deal with. Every person is important because every person is contributing to the organization, to the goals that we have, to the organization profitability. So hence, same for me. No internal, no external. He rightfully said, yes, the client always number one as a stakeholder because he's the one who's going to pay the bill at the end of the day. He's the one who's going to ensure that I stay in business. End customer, I see end customer and client pretty much as same. I see investors, board members, the management, the CEOs, I'll put them all in the same group. Is boss a stakeholder for us? A lot of times we think, is he more important or the customer important? For some people, they give more importance to the boss and less importance to the client. Some people give more importance to the client and less importance to the client to the boss. What do you think, Patil? What should be the balance? Both. Patil, I hope your boss is not in the meeting. Then I will not ask you this question. Yeah. So, equally important. Vendors, a lot of times we miss out, our vendors as well. If they do not provide the service on time, will we be able to service the end client? We will not be able to service. Hence, they are equally important. So yes, we take them as stakeholders. Cross-functional teams. So if you are providing A part, another team is providing B, and another team the C, and A, B, C together provide the full product or service that we have to provide to the end customer, which gets us in business. They are also our stakeholders. We are responsible and we have to ensure that within us, there is no friction. A lot of people ignore these. Team members. Team members are stakeholders as well. They are contributing to the entire supply chain. They are contributing to the services as well. So hence, we have to see them as stakeholders as well. So maybe you see the client here and the team member here. I will say, see all of them equally. The service, the dealing has to be similar for all the people that we work with. Hence, seeing them and giving them that value that you're valuable to us is not only words, it's also with the way we behave with them. What do our stakeholders want from us? What is it that they need from us? I know this is a puzzle. A lot of businesses, either they crack it. If they crack it, they are in business, they grow. If they don't crack it, they start losing their clients. They start losing the end customer. They start losing their team members. They start losing vendors or good deals that they get from vendors. So we have to understand that what is it that they want from us? May I request, anybody to just type or respond? What is it that the stakeholders want? So in interest of time, I'm going to just respond and just say that, well, what is it that they want? Every stakeholders want return on investment. They want profitability, money, salary. All these things are important for the business to sustain. And yes, we are in business only because we want profitability, returns. We want money. At the end of the day, everybody has to pay their bills. We want to know any update that impacts the stakeholder. So if an impact is on the team member, they need a timely communication. If it is related to work, maybe the deadlines, the bosses have to be informed, the client has to be informed. Maybe a lot of times we don't deal with the end customer, but if we are, then they also have to be informed. It has to be, to the right communication in the right way to the right stakeholder. Yes, I might change it when I'm talking to a stakeholder, like maybe my team members. But yes, the communication is important. It has to be timely. It cannot be after. They want to be treated with empathy and compassion. They don't want to be judged. They don't want anybody to, treat them with prejudice. They want empathy in terms of the service, how you are treating them, and compassion, responding appropriately. Everybody wants respect and dignity, whether it is, your team member, whether it is the client. But sometimes, because we do not have time, or we are too spontaneous, we think we are too cool, we miss this, and it is an important one. All stakeholders want expansion. All stakeholders, if a team member wants to grow in the organization, they also know that if they are contributing to the organization, they want to be eternally promoted. They want to be rewarded. They want good incentives. This is only possible if expansion also happens simultaneously. Growth is good for the organization. It is good for every person. Vendors, it is also important for vendors and cross-functional teams. We are living in a world where everything is changing around us. IT is changing things. Chat GPT is changing things. AI is changing things. So we know we are working in a world of efficiency. Efficiency is time. Efficiency is speed. Efficiency is how we do things right now. Time is money. So efficiency is related to time, but it is also related to new innovation and new things. How many of us are using, same old kind of phones which had numbers on it, or a BlackBerry? I don't see anybody carrying it anymore. I only see touch screen phones. In fact, I only see, those phones being used only as a burner phone. But everybody is into touch phones. Why? Because technology is changing. Nobody is staying in huts anymore. We are making big houses and big villas. If innovation and raising the bar was not the way humans want to work in business, then these things would have not happened. And things are changing fast. And if we want to be in business, we have to be with the times. Hence, we need to raise the bar each time. Uh, I'm completing and moving on to the next slide. If there is any question, if anybody wants to add their comment, this is definitely a discussion mode. Please do contribute as well. How to fulfill stakeholders' expectations. So we spoke about what is it that the stakeholders want, but how do we do that is something that we need to start thinking. I'm sure in our little worlds, in our areas of work, in our at home, in our organization, in office, within the organization culture, we do a lot of these things. But are we consistent in doing all of these things? Are we even looking at all of these things in one pack? Do you at times judge a client? I remember, once I was part of GE, and we were taking calls for auto financial services, and the customer said that I would not be able to make the payment this month, and the agent who took the call immediately judged the customer, based on the accent, she had a little Mexican or a Spanish accent. So she immediately started thinking that, oh, you know what, she might be from a low profile or something. And the way she was talking to that customer was not as respectful she would have spoken to anybody else, only because she had an accent. And she didn't even ask or didn't even try to work out a deal or something for her, which we had in our power to do. So, well, somebody from the senior management was hearing the call, and they called her offline, and they immediately pointed out to her, and in fact she got a red slip for it. Why? Because she judged the customer at that point in time. So yes, a lot of times when we are working with the customer and we say the client wants the sky, yes, he's paying for it, he's running your business, he will have expectation. Don't judge him. Don't judge him on his ability to do things. Just do because the client is us. See how you can accommodate it. So if you have an intent to fulfill those expectations, is when you will be able to fulfill these expectations. So why I'm pointing it out before I answer this is because a lot of times we look at our limitations. We look at the limitations of our organization and our team, and the limitation and our personal limitations, that I don't want to work extra to ensure that I fulfill this particular expectation as well. So if the intent changes, you can actually do anything. So here we are. We said they wanted return on investment, profitability, all this entire list that I just gave you. How to meet those? Focus, stop leakages. The moment you stop leakages, if your wastage goes down, it'll automatically increase profitability for the organization. Sometimes it can also be a payback for the customer as well. If you are assertive, you will be able to actually not only follow timely communication, you would be able to have the right behavior, the right tone to respond to people, the right intent to respond on time. You will also have empathy and compassion, respect, and dignity. So, assertive communication is a different field altogether, which actually takes everything in one go. Something you have to send a refund to the customer, and the refund is getting delayed. Who is going to? Would you want the customer to follow up after 1 month that, I waited 1 month to get the refund? Or would you proactively tell the customer that it will take up to 40 days for you to get the refund? A lot of times it's a little extra effort and we don't want to do it. But if we do it, we definitely, are able to sustain that relation with the client. Vendor payments are delayed, but do we take the extra time to inform them that it is delayed? We miss it. Or if there is a vendor who sent an invoice, that invoice had some errors, we will wait till the last minute to tell him that, sorry, there was an error in the invoice. It will only go in the next cycle now. If we are proactive, assertive is being proactive. Assertive is taking ownership of the customer. Assertive is not only owing the customer, ownership of the team as well. If the team is making an error and you know that this is constantly happening, you proactively go and correct it ahead of time. You don't let the customer go through inconvenience and then you fix it. So a lot of little battling can happen. If we are emotional intelligence is one of the areas that I think is going to be the future of the world, because AI is going to take over the world. The only thing that is left for humans is emotional intelligence and analytical ability. So if we are inputting the data for AI, yes, analytical ability is there, but emotional intelligence is something that I don't see it happening immediately for artificial intelligence to take over. For expansion, we have to have a growth mindset. We have to innovate. We need to go with technology. When I was answering growth, I was trying to say sharpen management skill, but I also wanted to talk about that, use a mix of all the points that I said earlier, and also sharpen your leadership skills. Because if you are a good leader, you will constantly coach your people, you will constantly build relation, you will constantly focus in an autopilot kind of an environment where your team works on autopilot, and you are spending more time on either client management or new ideas for growth and expansion, or actually going out there and getting more investors and expanding in new areas, new arenas, or even in new areas or countries or cities as well. So when I talk sharpen management, I also say leadership as well. Management skills will also mean your planning to execution. How well are you doing? Are you actually going ahead of time? Are you actually doing that extra mile in every transaction that you do, especially when it involves the client and the end customer? As part of management, is there a culture of innovation? Are you encouraging it by some reward? Are you encouraging it by adapting and giving names of people on new innovation that they have suggested? Then you will raise the bar. If the culture is not to raise the bar, you will be the old technology. So like I said, those old touch phones wherein you had to you use the touch pad to make call. See yourself as those when you don't innovate and when you're not upskilling and changing with time. I said that, when I spoke about stakeholder essentials, I talked about that we will, talk about what should we keep in mind, what should be those essentials that we have to keep in mind as tips so that we are able to impress our stakeholders. And believe me, in a 1 hour session, I can just talk about it. But actually, when you go out there and start practicing, is when you realize that it is more tougher than what you do. And it definitely in a monologue, I think it's a different feeling altogether. So my intention was came, but I see that the screens are not responding. So if anybody is hearing the recording at a later time, I will talk more in terms of, a webinar wherein you're just hearing and reading these tips. My intention was to ask you, what do you guess when you look at tip number 1? And you see a lot of fake faces, and you see a fake smile also right in between. Behind that fake, that fake smile, the real expression is angry, anxiety, stress. So what I want to really tell you is that with your stakeholder, always be honest. I gave you a big list. Cross-functional teams also, you can be honest. If you have built a rapport with them, you need to be honest. You need to be honest with the customer. I will be able to fulfill your request, but it will take some additional 10 to 15 days, or it will contribute to the cost. So being upfront is better than, giving a check later and saying that, sorry, I will not be able to give it in this time. Better to be upfront and be honest. This was intended to be a questionnaire wherein, and people who see the recording and people who are on the call right now, if you can unmute and tell me what it was. The first one is blue, second is green, yellow. The third fill in the blank is R and dash dash. And it was red. Bus, train, aeroplane, boat. So guava and pear. Cup, people could guess that this is a saucer. Table with the chair. Fork with a knife. The auto answer was that. So you were able to read my mind when I put this, and you were able to guess it. And what I want to say was, you need to resonate by understanding cues. So if you are in a meeting and somebody is constantly looking at a watch, you immediately know that, they got getting late for another meeting, or they have another obligation. So you need to really go faster on this, or maybe reschedule that meeting. Like I have so many people who are not responding to me right now. I think the intention is that they want to see the recording later. So I'm understanding the cues. So understanding the client based on their body language, their response, their reaction is very important. Also, at times, looking at a product or a service that you're providing to the customer, and you get these clues that, whenever this one error happens, it always leads to another error. It is better you be proactive and you check if that error is going to impact the product and the client or the service at the end of the day or not. So if you are proactive, you just resonate by understanding clues that you get. When you're able to read another person's mind, it is a mind meld situation when you connect with them. And that is only really happening when you have that level of emotional intelligence and you are able to connect with people, build rapport. It is not a superficial rapport with people. You actually care. When you emotionally connect with people is when you also start understanding clues. You see this handsome German Shepherd here. And if you need to enter this house, you need to emotionally connect with him. Not with him, emotionally first with the dog owner. Once you're with the dog owner and you interact with this dog, there is only one way to get entry. Not by feeding the dog, not by getting another female dog, to get him out of his seat and guarding position. The only way is if you emotionally connect through the dog owner. So, yes, tip number 3, connect emotionally with people. Don't let it be superficial. A lot of people think that building rapport is just, giving a compliment to somebody, or just trying to butter up somebody, or maybe just provide tea, coffee, or whatever they need. You are ahead of time in providing those. Then you're just a provider or a server or a waiter. Connecting emotionally is more about speaking about something that the stakeholder is emotional about family, emotional about, you strike a chord based on common interest. And a lot of people talk about cricket, they talk about music, they talk about areas of their interest, and that leads to connecting emotionally with people. And when you are emotionally connected with people, you are able to uh, maybe get better response from them, or you are able to reach out to them better, and you get better deals as well. For stakeholders, it is very important. And the clue over here was help. Are you trustworthy? Are you credible? For example, if I ask Patil today and I say, Patil, I have to leave early today and there is a report that needs to go out to Suruchi. Will you be able to send it by the end of the day, Patil? And Patil agrees and he says, yes, Nitika, this time I'll send it out. Next time when I need help, I'll reach out to you. And the next day, Suruchi calls me and she says, well, where is that report, Nitika, that I asked you? And I'm surprised because Patil did not inform me. And Suruchi is in a board meeting and she's not able to, do anything right now because she doesn't have data to respond to her stakeholders. So I've put Suruchi in a very bad position because I trusted Patil. So is Patel credible right now? Is he trustworthy? No. So yes, if I want to be trustworthy, then I have to keep my promises. So another situation. Patel sends the report, he adds value addition to it, and Suruchi calls me and says, thank you for a timely report. And also ensuring that some of the minor details that you described in that report were very well done and I appreciate it. Next time, when I need something, one, I have a trustworthy and a credible person, which is Patil, who actually sent the report as promised, also added value addition to it. So I knew that this is his area of expertise. So he immediately becomes my go-to person and I can immediately trust him. It's very important that I'm consistent with my response to my stakeholders. Today, I'm in a good mood, so I will respond to all my clients well. I'll be proactive. I will take ownership of my clients. I will follow all the tips that Nitika has given. But tomorrow, I don't know. Maybe I get up in a bad mood and I forget all of it. What that will do is We all have an emotional bank account with every person that we interact with. And every person that we interact with is our stakeholder, is, our team member, could be a client, could be a boss. And even in our personal life, we have an emotional bank account. But that is not the topic for today. So if I have an emotional bank account with every person, with every good deed, I get a +1. But with every bad deed, I get a -100 in one go. It is not only rudeness that gets a -100 to us in an emotional bank account. People will be away from us. People will stop trusting us. So we will not be credible if we are not consistent. So consistency is very important, that every interaction has to be at the same scale. If we have raised the bar, then stay at the raised bar and ensure that we follow that trend. If we are proactive and we take ownership, we have to continue to do that. So consistency is important. Yes, consistently going higher is good. But you can never go back. You can never go down, because whenever you go down, you will start losing your business. You will start losing your employees. You losing your credibility. And that is not good for you, because you are a brand in yourself. And for your own branding, you will have to start from scratch and start building relationship and start filling up that emotional bank account, which maybe might be at -1,000 also with one bad transaction. Here, the intention was to show you, this was an old table which had some paintings, yellow and green, odd colors coming out. The person who actually worked on this table, the furniture shop, converted it to such a beautiful looking furniture with, brown and a gray color and a black color in it. And it looked so elegant. We have to start thinking of our transactions with value addition as well. Are we giving good solutions? I see, as when I was heading a team, a lot of people would only come to me with problems. Believe me, that's not worth it. Whenever you go out to anybody, whether it is your team, whether it is your boss, whether it is your client, whether it is your vendor, always have a solution in mind. This is the problem and this is the solution. This is how I think we can meet it, because a solution centric approach will always get you somewhere. But are you adding value as well? Maybe somebody said that I want X, and you know for sure that X plus 1 is going to make a difference. Then offer it to the client. People appreciate good solutions. People appreciate smart minds. People appreciate anybody thinking ahead. Nobody wants to deal with robots, because robots anybody can hire now, right? People can hire differently. They will not come to you if they wanted robots to work with. If they've come to you, then you have to behave as the expert and add value to each transaction that you are providing. When I was giving the example of Patil sending the report for me, I said that Patil sent the report on time and he added value to it. And he added his expertise and ensured that it had that little brief which helped Suruchi on her call or her meeting with the stakeholder better. Now, next time, if I have a similar kind of a report and a work to be done, I know that my go-to person will be Patil, because I know that he has that eye for detail and he's able to convert all the data on a report into something which will add value to the person who is presenting and the receiver, who could be a stakeholder or an end stakeholder as well. So, yes, if you have good solutions, you become a go-to person. But if you don't give solutions, then there are a lot of competitors and a lot of other vendors who are available who the client can go to. So, yes, learn to become a go to person by being consistent, adding value, and by being credible. Yes, I opened the mind in the pic. So, yes, what I wanted to tell you was be open to new ideas. A place which has to create ideas has to be a culture wherein people are happy to share their ideas. People are encouraged to share their ideas. The moment I shut down somebody, Patil comes up with an idea and says that I think, Nitika, from tomorrow onwards, we should change the way we are working on certain training module. And he says that if you are able to present X first and maybe you go to A topic later, it'll be a better chronological order. I will just, there are two options that I have. I'll say, Patil, do you have as much experience that I have? Then just shut up, go. But next time, Patil will never come out to me. He'll never come up with an idea. At least, whose loss is it? Nitika's, because I did not take Patil's idea. Now, if I just say, yes, let me think about it, and actually I see value in it, I have not only encouraged Patil, I've also encouraged all the other people in my team who I say that, well, we should create a culture of new ideas. I appreciate new ideas, I implement it, and I accept it as well. So I will have more innovation within my team. I'm creating a culture. And next time, I actually reward somebody who comes up with a great idea, which leads to profitability as well. While I was in HP, we had, warranty. We were selling printers, the AIOs and the desk jets and scan jets. And I was working on a project on how to work on increasing the money that we get from warranty. HP doesn't make money from printers and scan jets. It only gets money from either the warranty, which is sold, or from the cartilage that they sell. So if they are not making money, we have to find ways of making more money for them. So somebody came up with an idea that every call that comes to us, if we start suggesting warranty to them, we will be able to increase profitability for our end customer or for our client. We started doing that, and we actually increased profitability and impacted it by another 20%. So all the printers that were out of warranty in our list, at least 20% bought the warranty from us. So hence it worked for us. But somebody had to give the idea and somebody had to implement the idea. And yes, sometimes it can be even bigger than that. Communication. It's very important. How are we talking to people? Are we timely in communication? Like I said, how do we make them feel? People will forget what you told. They will always remember how you made them feel. Hence, it is very important not to use, offending language and be polite at all times. Everybody likes respect and dignity. And sometimes only our language, only our body language, only the way we look at people with trust and belief, we will actually look more polite. Polite is not only having a particular tone and a sound, it is also showing respect in our eyes, in the way we are talking to people. So, yes, always be polite with any person that you deal with. I'm just going to give some examples of polite language. While it is a big list of assertiveness and a big list of, how to be more politer, but yes, the first is gratification, which is thank you, sorry, please. All of this, if we are using, it'll help. If we are using would you like to, instead of judging that you do and not completing sentences and giving commands, would you please, could you please, would you like to give your ideas? Would you like to share some ideas? It always gets a better response. And sometimes while we are talking even to our bosses, we sometimes talk the way we talk to, our children or our wives or husbands. We forget that the language has to be different when you're dealing with them. They are not your friends. They are friendly, but they are not your friends. So yes, using polite language at that time always works. People always like to be respected. So hence, I'm just going to conclude on the essentials. I went a little fast on it. We did not practice any skills. But yes, to look at this entire list, if anybody, is looking at the screen, Try and guess which were the tips that I gave, because these are those essential. This is your toolkit. And I'm actually empowering you and giving you something really big as a gift right now. If these 9 tips you are able to implement, I'm telling you, you're already doing stakeholder management and you're doing well. You're honest, you resonate, you understand clues better, you connect emotionally, you are trustworthy, you build credibility, and you are consistent. You are offering value and offer good solutions. You are the go to person. You're open to new ideas. You use polite language. And hence, if all these put together, believe me, it's going to be a magic mantra for you. So if there are any questions, I can take them, else I will hand it over to Patil. Thank you so much. So I have stopped sharing my screen. If there are any questions, you can either chat, type. Anyone top tip among the 9? What is the one we should start tomorrow to improve stakeholder management? Okay, sure. Okay, so your question, Patil, is which is one tip that we should start from tomorrow to improve stakeholder management? Okay, Patil, right now, you're my stakeholder. I'm presenting to you. So you decide and tell me one tip, and I'll tell you whether that is the one or not. I'll share my screen so that you can see that list. Any guesses? Disha, are you there? Which is one tip that you can? I'm telling you, the answer is in the question itself. In fact, it is in the list itself, because the list is deliberately created in a chronological order. So, Patil, yes. You said it at the same time. So easy to implement, right? Honesty. Yet we are not honest. We will put a bunch of lies. And to protect that lie, another lie and another lie. If we start practicing honesty, we are going to do better stakeholder management. And that is an easy to implement as well. Isn't it, Patil? One final question. How does stakeholder management differ when we move from an individual contributor to a leadership role? Truthfully, stakeholder management remains the same in theory, but the meaning keeps changing. As an individual, I have to look at my KRAs. What are my key responsibility areas? Within my frame of work, if I practice all these tips and the ones that I gave earlier, let me go back to the screen also so that I answer that for you. So we will look at that screen wherein I spoke about what do our stakeholders want and how do we do that. And I'll start answering based on this one. Yes. So my first thing that my stakeholder wanted was profitability. If I have certain KRAs, that is the goal. If I'm meeting it at the end of the day, and I'm ensuring that I'm communicating about any problems that I face or hits or misses in a timely manner. I will say if there is a situation that comes as an individual contributor, you have to inform ahead of time. But as a leader also, you have to inform ahead of time only. So the meaning only changes in actions based on the goal and the KRAs. But actually, the tips remain pretty much the same. Yes, maybe you cannot create a culture of innovation. You start thinking that as an individual, how can I create culture of innovation? You can, because as an individual, you can become an ideas factory within your area of space. Say you are writing emails, for example, to the end client, and you want to change the verbiage. Your verbiage is such that people are actually seeing it and saying that, well, this new verbiage being used by Patil is really nice. It becomes a culture. It becomes a trend that everybody start following. You suddenly, are using a certain tagline for your meetings with your stakeholders, or you've started sending these thank you notes to your vendors. It becomes a culture. So, yes, creating a culture is something you can do. And innovation could be in technology, can be in the way you work as well. So, yes, in stakeholder management, if you understand what is the purpose of my work, what am I doing here? What is my goal? My personal goal aligned with the organization goal. If you are able to do that, you will be able to implement all these points in one go. Patil, have I been able to answer your question? I think Patil is facing a network issue. So I don't know whether he heard the answer or not. Okay, great. Excellent. Any other thoughts or question? Anything that you want to ask or talk about? Stakeholder is more of a practical subject. It is, I can tell you, be respectful, but it's just a sentence. I cannot convert your intent till the time you get into a role play and start thinking that, I actually am making this error. It's more about self reflection. It is more about upskilling and having an intent that I really want to service the customer. If your job is only getting your paycheck at the end of the day, you will never have innovation. You will never have that honesty. You will never have that intent. But if it is something that you're absolutely obsessed about, hence they say choose a job that you love and you never have to work a day in your life. If that is the way that you work, you will be able to manage your stakeholders better. And always, you will be able to be the go to person, you will be credible, you will be innovator, you will be everything because you're passionate. Passion is something which is required in work. So Purvi has a question, how we can handle situations where stakeholders' expectations keep changing frequently. Excellent. Purvi, what kind of a stakeholder are you talking about? Is it a boss? Is it the client? Because the answer will change. Mhm. Okay, so let's answer it and we'll answer for the client as well. For the boss, if the expectation is changing frequently, then you did not understand the expectation in the first place. You are not understanding your boss. Start using little bit of empathy, compassion. Start getting into their shoes and see what is it that they actually want. So sometimes, if here, Purvi, I draw a 6, from your screen, you will only see a 9. See, you're seeing a 9 from the other side. So communication varies from person to person. Not always what we say the other person understands. So, yes, from the boss, if the expectation is changing, that means you are not understanding it. So, start using, if a boss you feel is changing expectation, reconfirm, rewrite, and get to the end of it. Look at all the different perspectives of it, and then only you will be able to understand what is really wanted in this. Yes, by and large, everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants to be profitable. Everybody wants growth expansion. Everybody wants, bosses want it, and updates which are timely. So if this is the basic structure, then you just have to understand transactions. What one, two, three, four transactions are there? And in those transactions, what is the real expectation? Are they looking for a 6 or a 9 over here? So you have to be more vocal in understanding. And believe me, whether you are a frontline, a rookie, or you are the CEO of an organization, communication is what is the game changer everywhere. Even when you are in, playing cricket on field, there is communication happening between the bowler and the fielder and the batsman as well. It's only the body language, but communication is happening. So if we sharpen your communication skills and your ability to receive and interpret and understand the expectation of the boss in the same flavor they want, and you document it because it is changing every time, right? Documenting is reconfirm even in an email or a WhatsApp message. Are you saying you want 1, 2, 3, 4? If you have clarified and made it that clear, then the expectation might not change any further for you. So, Purvi, if there are any further um, uh, thoughts on this, just type and I will respond to you. And Patil, I see your message asking about clients. I'll respond. If Purvi has any further question, I will take it first. Oh, okay. Thank you, Purvi. So for client, first, if for the client, you always have your service of work or service of work contract, some kind of a contract that you sign with the client. You initially go with the proposal and you say in the proposal, I propose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to you. And then later on, you convert it into an agreement that this is what I am going to provide. Ensure that at that stage, things are worded very clearly. And if it is not clear, then the client will keep shifting. So ensure that at that time, you go a little ahead of time in your mind and start thinking that what dynamics can change. Something like I was in a travel company, Musafir. While I was with Musafir and we are dealing with currency and we are working with, say an international trip. Now, dollar price keeps changing each time. So it is very important for me to put it very clear to the client that the time at the time of the booking, whatever is the dollar price is what is binding for us, because we can only give tentative pricing based on the dollar pricing at that point in time when we offer a particular proposal to the client. A lot of times we got into a fix when we forgot to tell the client that the binding is based on booking time, not at the time of proposal, because sometimes it increases and sometimes it decreases as well. So yes, if you are able to articulate very well and clearly, great. But yes, Patil, why I said for client I want to talk separately is the client, sometimes their situation changes. How open are you as an organization to ensure that you accommodate their issues as well? The client who gets partners who are able to accommodate their issues, they are there with you for life. So yes, if it is a little tweak, their situation changed. I said, I agreed to this particular number and these 5 things in the contract, but I want a 6th thing as well. I said that I want this to be fulfilled in 30 days, but due to a rent agreement problem, I want it to be fulfilled in 20 days. Will you be able to accommodate? Well, at that time, if the expectation of the client has changed, you have to look at your profitability because you have to report to your boss. He's your stakeholder, and to your stakeholders, which are investors as well. See how, by not impacting that bottom line, are you able to accommodate that request for the client with minimum impact on the overall profitability for your organization and their organization as well. And believe me, a lot of times we are able to But just because we are stubborn, we don't do it. Or just because we are lazy, we are not able to do it. So yes, if situation changes, say it, but make sure that it is always written. When you are dealing with clients, with end customer, ensure communication is always binding and written. Because a lot of times people might say this was a verbal agreement and I disagree. But if it is written somewhere, it goes in the court of law and it is binding, so people accept it then. Any more thoughts, Patil, if you on the client expectation? Okay, great. So are there any questions, any thoughts? Please go ahead and send away. I think I'm more on a chat session today.
Thank you, Nitika, for such an insightful and practical session. I'm sure everyone here is walking away with a clearer understanding of not just who their stakeholders are, but more importantly, how they engage them with more effectively. So, to all the and at Skillame, we continue to work closely with organizations to design and deliver customized programs like these, focused on real challenges, real impact across leadership and workplace effectiveness. If you'd like to explore similar sessions for your teams or dive deeper into any of these topics, we'd be happy to connect. And thank you, everyone who were there. And once again, have a great weekend. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure. Thank you, Disha. Take care. Bye-bye.